What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about the price of SPS, and first and foremost, none of this is financial advice. I'm not even telling you what to do. What I want to talk about is what I see as the potential road to a 1 penny, 1 cent SPS. Now, before we even jump into this, I know all of you Splinterlands bears are just salivating right now. You're like, oh, you saw the title of the video and you're like, oh, this is it. This is vindication for everything. No, I want to say, actually, I'm gonna run the numbers in front of you. And what's odd, or what's not, I shouldn't say odd, interesting, is that after running the numbers, I actually don't think we'll get to 1 penny SPS anymore. Granted, I have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but like I said, just in terms of running the numbers appropriately and given the assumptions that I'll lay out here, I think it would actually be quite difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be quite difficult. So let's go ahead and actually talk this through. And again, we're just talking purely numbers. I'm not going to take into account anything that the team has said or planned or what their roadmap is until the end, right? So here is what we are looking at. I have the entirety of the Splinterlands, or I should say SPS, market cap ahead of us. What you can see here is that even last year, back in October, September, October, when things got really bad, we bounced off of like the $15 million market cap range, right? Now, we went up, we went down, we're flirting with 15 million once again. But I want to, again, this is one of the assumptions here, I want to keep 15 million as a floor. Again, that is an assumption. We could definitely go below it, but since we bounced off of it in the past, not just once, but maybe even twice back here, right? This came down to 16 million. I want to just use that as a floor and as a baseline, right? If we get too low, below the $15 million market cap, I think that there's probably whales or, other folks that are going to look at that and say, yeah, this project's not going to be worth 15 million, not fully diluted, but $15 million market cap over the next 12 to 18 months. So let me buy some, right? Or let me stop selling some. So we're using that as assumption number one. Now we can go over into our total supply, and this is where we can have some fun with it, right? So current price is 1.5 cents. Again, that doesn't really matter, but just calling it out for right now. You can see we have we'll just say 1.26 billion SPS that is currently in circulation. Now that does include the DAO, which is sitting on over 100 million, probably even more than 100 million at this point. And we have burned 120 million total, right? Roughly 120 million, maybe closing in on, actually, we're over 121 million. So 4.1% of the total supply. Now, that all doesn't really matter because we're not going to game theory this out all the way to the full dilution or the full distribution. What I want to do is just talk about the next 6 months, because I do believe after the next 6 months and into the end of the year, early next year, and even maybe the better parts of next year, we will be hopefully in a bull run after this Bitcoin halving that has just passed. Again, that's an assumption. Is it actually going to happen? Could there be a massive black swan? Could the world go to hell? I don't know, right? Like, who knows what's going to go on this year and next, but if we're just following the cycles, that is the assumption, that there will be some kind of momentum there, right? So I want to just see where the next 6 months could go. And this is where I want to bring in now what the team has talked about in terms of trying to get the new player experience up and running within the next 6 months, or, maybe by the end of Q3, with, 6 months actually taking us to the end of October at this point, which is kind of crazy, right? So that's well into Q4 at that point in time, which, Q4 has generally been good for crypto in these years around the cycles or around the halving. So let's go ahead and take that. And I actually opened up a calculator here so we can have some fun. So we're going to have 1.26 billion, right? I'm going to leave some zeros out here. 1.26 billion, what's that called? SPS in supply right now over the course of the next 180 days. I know the inflation rate is not that high, and we've actually even reduced it further. But again, just to make the numbers easy, let's say we're still doing 1 million SPS a day. We're not, right? But let's just say we're doing 180 million SPS. That gets us to 1.44 billion. This is also, right, another assumption. This is also assuming that things are slow and there is not a significant amount of burning of SPS. And even if there is, right, like, I mean, we're talking about 180 million. I don't know how much it would take for us to burn, millions, meaning that, or even 1.8 million, that would be 1% of that. So again, we're using rough numbers here. So when you look at that 1.44 billion, right, this is where the magic happens. Let me go ahead and clear this. So now I'll use all the zeros just so you guys have this available. So now we're talking about a $15 million market cap. I wish there were commas here, so I don't have to count the zeros. But yes, $15 million market cap. Divide that by the amount of tokens that would be in circulation mid to late October, right? So this would be 1,440,000,000 for billion, and boom. That gets us down to 1 penny. So that is what we're looking at over the next 6 months. If nothing major happens, if there's no momentum, if there's no kind of upward tick in terms of the market, and then internally for the Splinterlands project and game, Soulkeep launches, nobody cares. The Rebellion Soulbound reward cards come out, and the other ones are unlockable, and nobody cares. And when I say nobody cares, I'm saying like there's no driver there. There's nothing that would push people to spend or burn DEC and then burn, buy and burn SPS. I'm not saying that people won't care. I'm just saying that this would assume that nothing is happening over the next 6 months. There's like barely or insignificant market activity that would drive anything. And that will get us down to 1 penny. And I just find that hard to believe, right? Again, this is with the assumption that we stay at or around a $15 million market cap. Obviously, that's a micro cap. And I think if any games pop off, right, whatever game you fancy that's out there in terms of being like a top tier game right now, whatever games pop off, I do think that people will look at the rest of the gaming sector. We know that Matt wants to go and start doing some heavy marketing later on in the year. And like I said, there's Soulkeep. There's the Soulbound reward cards getting unlocked. There's potential land, right? 1.6, maybe even elements of 2.0. There's a mini set if they decide to do a mini set similar to Rift Watchers. Again, I don't know when that will come out, but Rift Watchers came out in September of the year following the launch of Chaos Legion, right? So maybe we get something like a Rift Watchers. That would also that would also include any kind of promo cards that might move the needle, right? So there's all of these things, and what we're saying is not only are they not going to have any impact, they would even have maybe like a negative impact, right? Because they would all just be driving the price down. So in looking at this, again, for all my bears who were salivating at the beginning of the video, do you understand what I'm looking at now? Do you agree with me or disagree with me about again, you're going to have to take the assumptions in play, but do you agree with this kind of hypothesis that it would actually be very difficult for us to get to 1 cent over the course of the next 6 months? And then, of course, assuming that following 6 months and going into, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, all that for 2025, we would be in a much better position with the market just trending upwards, right? Like, will the market just be choppy, or maybe the market goes and we're just completely disconnected, right? Or decoupled, which, we actually shown some signs of life in terms of correlation. Recently, Bitcoin started to go up, and all of a sudden, SPS went from 1.3 to 1.5. That is not insignificant. Okay, so that is not insignificant. I just haven't really talked about it as much. So that's all. That's all I want to share with you guys in this video. Right, this would be the road to a 1 cent SPS, and I actually think that this road would be very difficult to travel, considering all of the stuff that the team has planned. And even if the team just completely fumbles the bag, I don't think the rest of the market will, right? I mean, unless there's Black Swan, COVID 2.0, right? Or something that happens, right? Like that just crashes the markets. I don't think that would be the case. But, I reserve the right to say that I can't predict the future. So I have no idea what's going to happen. But from a numbers perspective, I think this actually looks quite difficult. And, again, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. Who knows? Maybe we get very close, right, to 1.1 cents anyway, and still. But I'm just giving you the numbers here, and I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. Please do let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.